Hello, and welcome to Let's Play Genders. Yesterday, I forgot to record a gender, breaking my solemn promise to all my wonderful viewers slash listeners. As penance, I will now read and define every gender up to cave gender, including cave gender. This is going to be a long one. Don't listen to it. This is just me trying to apologize and make it so I never forget ever again. Let's start with the A's. Ambigender, a gender which is profound, deep, and infinite. Absurd gender, a gender that is what the genders of those around you are. As you are around more people, even if someone leaves, they continue to add to the genders you feel. You stay the genders that you have taken in until you hit a max of some sort. At some point, you become like a blank slate, being only one gender. It doesn't have to be agender or neutral. It can be any gender, and the base gender can be different each time. If you absorb one gender more easily than other genders, you can replace gender in the term with the gender you absorb best. Oh boy. Adamus gender, a gender which refuses to be categorized. Adipto gender, when your state of gender was obtained through a realization of your kin self, as in your kin realization spurred your gender realization. No, the gender and kin type do not necessarily have to correlate with each other. Fuck. Arrogender, see, Avius gender. Aestheta gender, a gender derived from an aesthetic, also known as vidi gender. Aether gender, a gender that feels wide, commanding, breathtaking, and powerful. Affective gender, a gender affected by mood swings. Agender, a real gender, holy shit, having no gender or lack of gender identity. Agender fluid, see Cancer gender. Agender flux, see Libra fluid. Alexigender, gender identity which is fluid between more than one gender, but the individual cannot tell what those genders are. Alias gender, whatever, a gender which is removed from condom gender descriptions and guidelines. Fuck off. Ambigender. Ambigender. Oh, a feeling of two genders simultaneously without fluidity / shifting. It may be used simultaneously in some cases with bigender. A mere gender. A gender that changes depending on who you're in love with. Ambonic, identifying as both man and woman, yet neither at the same time. Does not make sense. Amica gender, a gender that changes depending on which friend you're with at the moment. Oh boy. Amogender, see flirt gender. Amor gender. God damn it. When your gender changes whilst in the presence of an individual to whom you have developed a deep connection for. This could be a romantic attraction, platonic connection, a spiritual affinity, or anything similar. Boy. Examples include amor boy or amor girl. Androgen, a real gender, feeling in between or combination of man and woman or boy and girl. Aeneas gender, feeling like a certain gender but feeling more comfortable identifying as another. Angeligender, a gender found only amongst angels that is hard to describe to non-angels, for Godkin and angelkin only. Fuck. And genital, a desire to be without primary sexual characteristics without necessarily being genderless. Anogender, a gender which fades in and out but always comes back feeling the same. Examples, ano boy, ano girl. Anon-gender, a gender that is unknown to both yourself and others. Antigender, a protean gender which has the potential to be anything but is formless and motionless and therefore does not manifest as any particular gender. Antigender, a gender which can only be described as the opposite of another gender, e.g., and anti-boy being an opposite of boy, also known as ungender. Examples, anti-boy, anti-girl. Anxiogender, a gender affected by anxiety. And bisgender, see? Apagender, a feeling of apathy towards one's gender that causes one to have no desire to look further into it, also known as letharg gender, inners gender, and avis gender. Jesus Christ. Apconsugender, a gender where you know what it isn't, but not what it is. Like the gender is hiding itself from you. Apogender, a subset of agender in which you feel not only genderless but entirely removed from the concept of gender. Apologender, when you have around 9 from 6 to 10 different distinct feelings of gender, but they have mixed into one big gender identity. Aporogender, a gender separate from man/boy, woman/girl, and anything in between while still having a gendered feeling. Aptogender, a gender which feels fitted and secured. Aquarogender, a gender that is fluid between infinite feelings. Sometimes these feelings may be close to an existing term, and sometimes they are indescribable or abstract, also known as gender flow. Anarchogender, fuck off. A gender that is ancient/old and big, and can either only be described with those words or is correlated to them. Airy fluid, see aerogender. Aerogender, switching between non-binary genders while feeling particularly associated with one, also known as aerofluid. Arithmogender, a number gender, it can range from any number/s, positive, decimals, negative, fractions, etc. Fuck off. Argogender, a subset of gender fluid where the changes between one's separate genders or the parts of one's gender happen gradually, or a gender that is defined by its slowness. See sloth gender. That's a joke. There's no sloth gender so far. Astrogender, a gender that feels bright and celestial. Examples: astro boy, astro girl. Astral gender, a gender that feels connected to space. Atmosgender, having a gender which is present but unable to be grasped or firmly defined. Autigender, a gender that can only be described in the context of being autistic. Autogender, a gender experience that feels deeply personal to oneself. Axigender, when a person experiences two genders that sit on the opposite end of an axis, one being a gender and the other being any other gender. These genders are experienced one at a time with no overlapping and with very short transition time. Examples: axi boy, axi girl. Batgender, see nocturnal gender. Bigender, a real gender identifying as two genders, may be static or fluid. Big ender fluid. Bigender, with your gender fluctuating between the two, which, would just be bigender, but whatever. Biogender, a gender that feels connected to nature in some way. Blizzgender, a gender that feels cold, snowy, and harsh. When it's paired with another gender, it's known as wintergender. Wint boy, wint girl, wint and bee. Wint fluid. Fuck off! Boggender, a gender that feels like a bog, swamp, marsh, or similar to whoever it belongs to, also known as swamp gender. Border gender/border fluid, a fluctuating gender experienced exclusively by people with BPD, which is borderline personality disorder, I believe. A gender identity lacking a firm grasp on one's identity while still experiencing gender to varying degrees, but having trouble pinning it down to just one label or identity. Having the sense of grasping at labels as much as possible to describe a gender one keeps questioning because one keeps second-guessing one's sense of self and, consequently, one's sense of gender. Can be combined with relevant genders. Fuck off. Boy flux. When one feels mostly or all male, but most of the time, but experiences fluctuating intensities of male identity, this can be fluid with other identities. Oh my god! Gravigender, a subset of gender fluid in which you feel your gender is never stable for long periods of time, but is constantly changing. Burst gender, see spike gender. Cadence gender, a gender that's easily influenced by music. Catogender, a subcategory of polygender identities, gender fluid, bigender, trigender, etc., that have a gender to fall back on or one that you always go back to. Examples: Cato boy, Cato girl. Catogender, gender which has been cut away by a traumatic event. Examples are Cato boy, Cato girl. Kale gender, a gender which shares qualities with outer space or has the aesthetic of space, stars, nebula, etc. Cancer gender, a gender is base gender but experiences fluid/fluctuating gender feelings in tandem with emotions. These gender feelings may confuse or upset the individual and cause their emotional state to go haywire, which causes more gender changes, also known as agender fluid. Canis gender, a small dog-like gender. Bark bark. Caprigender, caprarious, rapidly changing, untrackable gender. Karma gender, a gender which is poetic and rhythmic in nature. God damn it. Cast flux. When your level of indifference towards your gender fluctuates, cast gender, feeling as if the very concept of gender is unimportant to you. Yes! Cave a gender! Having a trapped or imprisoned feeling. Cave a boy, cave a girl, cave a ENB, whatever. Cave fluid. I'm done! That's my penance, everyone! Yes, I'm done! That took much too long. A new gender is coming. Please stay tuned for that. I'll never forget to post a gender again. Oh, God.